Hi guys, so welcome back. We are moving on to lesson 11.2. Again, it's a 2-day lesson. I'll basically teach the whole lesson today, and then tomorrow will be a day for practice and review for you guys. Alright, so I have it started with the vocab up on the board and some formulas. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about population density and sector of an area, and also area of a circle, which is old information for you guys. So population density is the measure of how many people live within a given area. Okay, and there is a formula that we use. Population density is equal to the number of people divided by the area of land. Okay, so you have to calculate the size of the land, the area of the land, and then divide. All right, and then sector of a circle. When we talk about sector, think of like a piece of pizza, right? That would be a sector of a circle. Okay, so the region bounded by 2 radii and an arc of the circle. So here I have an arc of the circle, arc AB, my 2 radii. This region right there is called a sector, and we name it by using the 3 letters, sector A, P, B. And it looks like a slice of pizza. Okay, so old information, how do you find the area of a circle? Pi r squared. Again, you're going to leave your answer in terms of pi unless the problem specifically asks you to round or approximate or, give the answer in the nearest tenth or hundredth. Read the directions. If it doesn't say to approximate, leave pi as your answer in your answer. And then area of a sector, which I'll get into this in more detail when we do the problem. It's actually very similar to how you find the length of the arc, which we did in the last lesson. You start by finding the fractional part that this represents, okay? This piece of pizza, what fractional part of the entire pie does it represent? So you figure that out by taking the measure of the arc divided by 360. Then you're going to multiply by the area of the circle, pi r squared. So keep in mind, you could always replace this with a big A representing A area of a circle or pi r squared, depending on what calculations you need to do. Okay? So we're going to move on to some examples. Let me get it set up. Okay, so the first few quick, nice, easy review type problems. The first example, we want to find the area of circle M, and this is what you're given, a diagram. Here is my M, and you're given the entire diameter is 5 centimeters. Well, if I'm trying to find area, I'm going to write my area formula down, pi r squared. If my diameter is 5, that means my radius is 2.5. And you can use 2.5. You could turn it into a fraction. It's kind of up to you. All right, so if my diameter is 5, that means my radius is 2.5 or 5 halves or 2.5. Okay. I'll do it both using the decimal and the improper fraction just so you can see. So the area is equal to pi, and then I'm going to use 5 over 2 for the first one, 5 over 2 squared. Now I have to square the 5 over 2, so that means 5 over 2 times 5 over 2, or square the 5, square the 2. Okay, so I'll write it out just so you can see it. It's 5 over 2 times 5 over 2. Right, when you square something, you multiply it times itself. So 5 times 5 and 2 times 2. The area is equal to 25 over 4 pi, what are my units? Centimeters squared. Now you can do that same work using the decimal. Okay, so your area, pi, and then let's say you want to use 2.5 squared. So you're going to square the 2.5, which is going to give you 6.25. So area is equal to 6.25 pi centimeters squared. So those would be the exact answers. It doesn't say to round. If I wanted to approximate, plug in the calculator and get 19.63. Okay? I prefer this answer over that answer. All right? Let's do problem number 2. Problem number 2. Finding the area of a circle again. So we want to find the area of circle R. Here is R. And you're given the radius is 7 centimeters. Okay, area formula equals pi r squared. Radius is 7, so you simply plug that in. 7 squared. 7 squared is 49. So 49 pi centimeters squared. That would be the exact answer. If I was looking for an approximation, I'd plug it in to get approximately 153.94 centimeters squared. Okay, so that's example 2. So the next example, example 3. Now we want to find the diameter of a circle that has an area of 10 square feet. Okay, so the area is equal to 10 feet squared is what the problem is telling us. We want to find the diameter. So start with the area formula that you know, pi r squared. If you substitute in the given, the area is 10, that's going to allow you to solve for r squared. All right, I'm going to divide both sides by pi. So I have that the radius squared is equal to 10 over pi. And then to get just r, I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So r is equal to the square root of 10 over pi. Now, technically, it's actually plus minus, but we don't need the negative answer since the radius can't be negative, right? You can't have a length that's negative. So we ignore the negative and just take the positive. Although it's not proper to leave a fraction under the radius, since I'm going to do other calculations, I am going to leave it just like that. Okay? The question is asking us for the diameter, and the diameter is 2 times the radius, right? If you think about a circle, the diameter is 2 times the radius. 2 radius make 1 diameter. So your diameter is equal to 2 times the square root of 10 over pi. Now for this type of problem, my directions would definitely say round to the nearest 10th or 100th. Okay, so we are going to plug this into our calculator. So grab your calculator out and plug that in. Make sure you're okay doing that. So 2 times, get a fraction, and then 10 over pi. It's a good time to talk about where pi is on our graphing calculators if we're not sure. So the pi button is right above, see it in blue right here, right above your little caret. And to get to the blue functions, you push the blue button. I'm going to push enter. And you can see that you're going to get, oh, that's not right. I forgot to put it under the square root. Let me try that again. Looking at my calculation, I'm like, that's not right. Let me try that again. 10 over pi. All right, now, I forgot my square root before. Now that's going to be correct. And you get approximately 3.57. We'll round to 2 decimal places. So approximately 3.57. Diameter is approximately 3.57 feet. Units are feet. Okay. And one more of this type before we move on to sector area. So for problem 4 from the notes, it says find the radius of a circle with an area of 65 square centimeters. So the area is equal to 65 centimeters squared is what we're told. We want to find the radius. So start with your area formula. Area equals pi r squared. I'm going to substitute the 65 in for the area. So 65 equals pi r squared. Isolate the r as much as possible. So start by dividing both sides by pi. So r squared is equal to r squared is equal to 65 over pi. And then to get r alone, you're going to take the square root of both sides. So r is equal to the square root of 65 over pi. Again, my directions for this type of problem would definitely say to approximate and round. So I'm going to plug that into my calculator, which I'll again do. Don't forget my square root this time. So square root, then put a fraction under it, and then it's 65 over pi. Push enter, and you get approximately 4.55. So R is approximately 4.55, and my units are centimeters. It's a linear measure, so not squared. Okay. All right, now we're going to move on to sector area. So although those last 4 problems may have been review, we're going to move into something that is new. Okay, so to find the area of a sector, area of sector APB is going to equal, my board is still a little wet, let me see if a different color shows up better, is equal to the measure of arc AB over 360 times the area of a circle, so pi r squared. Okay, and they're using these letters going along with this diagram. There's a, so again, if I'm trying to find the area of just this slice of pizza, okay, I'm going to find what fractional part that slice of pizza represents of the whole circle, and then multiply by the area of the whole circle. All right, so the first example problem from your notes. We're given a diagram that that was bad. Get the center there, that might be easier to draw. We're given a diagram that looks like this. And it says area of sector formed by angle PQR. So they want us to find this sector area right here. Okay, to find that area, you first have to figure out of the entire circle, what fractional part does this represent? Well, this is 140 degrees of 360. So start with that, 140 over 360. The measure of the arc over 360, 140 over 360. And then multiply by the area of the whole circle. Pi, oh, I think I forgot something. Oh, if I did. The diagram also gave you this. All right, pi r squared. I need that 4 squared. And now you're going to clean it up. You're going to simplify. So if you knock off the zeros, now you have 14 over 36. That can be simplified even further. Divide both by 2. Get 7 over 18. So 7 over 18 times 4 squared is 16 pi. All right, and then you can cross simplify and then multiply. So when I cross simplify, both are divisible by 2, right? That's the highest number, I think. 2 goes into there 9 times. 2 goes into there 8 times. Then you're going to multiply 7 times 8 to get 56. So you have 56 pi over 9 centimeters squared. This is an area, sector area, so my units are squared. Okay. And for the next example, that was example 1. Example 2 from your notes, you're given a circle Y, X, Z, and you're given that this angle is 25 degrees, and then you're told that this sector area is 4.1 feet squared. So this problem wants you to find the area of the circle. So we want to find area of circle Y. It's a little bit different than what we did in the last problem. All right, in this problem, you're already given the area sector. The area of the sector is 4.1 feet. So let's start with that information, okay, and use this formula. The area of the sector is equal to the arc over 360 times pi r squared. So if the area of the sector is given, that's 4.1. And I'm going to set that equal to the arc measure over 360. Well, the arc measure, if the angle's 25, the arc measures 25 over 360. And then times, I could write pi r squared, but pi r squared is the area formula. So I'm just going to write area of circle Y. All right. And then from there, you can simplify, or you could just multiply both sides by the reciprocal of the fraction, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to multiply both sides of the fraction, or of the equation, by the reciprocal of the fraction, 360 over 25. 360 over 25. On the right-hand side, the fraction cancels. And on the left-hand side, when you multiply, and you can obviously use your calculator, you get 59.04. 59.04 equals the area of circle Y. And that's it. All right, guys, so that is all for lesson 2. Day 1. Tomorrow will be a practice day. Make sure you jump onto the online textbook and do the homework that's assigned for today, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye.